Great day, great day, great day. This is Brother Hot Tim, and I'm coming at you live with Give Yourself Permission. Now we done moved to the second stage. You give yourself permission, and upon moving on the second stage, I got some good news yesterday. Those of you that follow me on Facebook and Twitter, y'all know I got my first, it ain't my first royalty check, but I got a royalty check. Now, I'm not rolling in dough, so don't get me wrong. But what I am saying is that I told you that 2014 and beyond is ours. And this means that I had enough people purchase books that that Amazon sent me some money. All right. So it was a little bit of money, and I am thrilled because I know that on this journey we grow exponentially. And when you're dealing with exponential numbers, you start small. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8. That's nothing. That's 3 flips. 8 becomes 16, nothing. 16 becomes 32, nothing. 64, 32 becomes 64, 64 becomes 128, 128 becomes 256, 256 becomes 512, 512 becomes 1024. How many flips was that? The point that I'm making is that we got to understand that our journey happens in increments, and we hit plateaus. Bruce Lee talked about hitting these plateaus and fighting through these plateaus, because it seemed like we're not going somewhere sometimes. But if we hang in there and we continue moving towards mastery, we become better and better. So let me do my introduction first. I am Brother Hot Tim. This is Give Yourself Permission. We are on Giami Journey Radio, Heart of a Symbol Productions, coming at you live and direct. Man, I am hyped. Listen, as hard as it is to get up in the morning, I'm getting up and I'm getting out and I'm running. And I figured out while I was running, not figured out, but while I was walking my dog, I missed the quiet of the early morning. When you out walking, give it a try. You know, if you live in a safe enough place, well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Most hustlers and criminals are not out at 5 a.m., at 4 a.m. in the morning. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to get somewhere so they could sleep, so they could be able to run from 10 to about 3. All right? You know what I'm saying? So, get outside. If you got a backyard, just go to the backyard and just look up and listen to all the life that is going on around you. Plug in and allow it to fuel you through your day. All right? Every now and then, because we don't do that enough. I talked about that a little bit yesterday. I got some people that's going to be doing the amblatia, or at least a piece of it, Giami style, and at our camping trip that's coming up September 5th. So those that are interested, get with me. Hit me up. This is not just a kid event. I'm getting out of that. This is not just a kid event. Adults can come as well. Now, if you send your children, I advise you to come with them, because this is not your free weekend. This is not this is a family camping trip. I'm taking my kids. I got other people bringing their kids, and we're going to have stories. We're going to have breakout sessions, and we're going to have a good time. We're going to eat together. We're going to build a village together. And some of us is going to go through initiation or a spiritual quest on that day. What a challenge, man. This is a great day to be a Giami, man. Listen. So now we're moving into the first V. I know you're like, Brother Hot Tim, reread the credits, because now I had to move it up to 10 minutes. So now, reread the credits for those people out there that's upset with me. But we got to talk about this first V. So, first thing I do always is I look up these words, because I want to be clear on the words that I'm using. So, in the first V, we got the word virtue. What does virtue mean? So now, these 5 V's are the 5 V's of warriorship. And once again, let me give you the definition for a war. I mean, we already know the definition for a warrior. For those that's been following me long enough, a warrior is one experienced and involved in conflict. And truly, most of us in our lives are in constant conflict. So, what I want to do right now is to read what you are supposed to pick up from the 5 V's, if I can find it. All right. Well, so when we look at the 5 V's, the first one is virtue. I'm gonna keep on looking for that, and I will come back and I will read it to you. The first V, here we go, warrior training. Now, those of you that are involved in the warrior training process, I also have a book out as well. And those of you that's been following me, look on my website, or if you have a Kindle, right now most of my books are going for 99 cents or free. You know what I'm saying? On Kindle, if you sign up for the Kindle lending library. So go download the books. Warrior training, the process of dealing with conflict and extracting the lessons that will propel you to success on all levels of life. Let me say that again. The process of dealing with conflict and extracting the lessons that will propel you to success on all levels of life. So we're not just stopping at being able to deal with conflict. We want to extract, and I got to say it like that, extract every little bit of knowledge and get the wisdom from that experience so that we can grow and become more powerful, so that we can move towards whatever it is we was put on this planet to be. All right, now, virtue. Virtue is defined as moral excellence, goodness, righteousness, conformity of one's life and conduct to the moral and ethical principles, uprightness and rectitude. But this is what was interesting to me, because I like looking at the origins. The origin of the word virtue comes from a word virtut in Latin. Now, I'm not good at Latin, but also the word virtus, which means maleness, worth, or ver, which comes from, and that ver comes from, is the root word of the word virile, which means, you know, when you virile, you have enough energy to pass on to others in a knowing type of way. Viral, or not viral, but virile. All right, now, but the key word there is man. Man, I want you to think about this. To be virtuous is to be the highest type of male, one that brings worth. Now, also, virtue or being virtuous is someone that lives by a principle system. Now, this individual does not have to speak his principle system to you, because you'll see it in their actions. And because an individual uses the principle or follows the first V and is virtuous and has virtue and stands upright as a man, because I want you to understand, when we talk about maleness, we're talking about being able to stand erect, not limp, but being able to stand erect as a man. Now, when you stand erect as a man, it's certain qualities that shine through you. What are the principles that you practice? What are the gifts and the worth that you bring to the world? Also, being virtuous allows you to reflect on each of your actions so that you have a higher source to go to help you make your decisions. If the decision you are making is not in line with your virtue, you know not to do it. The virtue, right? Being virtuous protects you from yourself, from reciprocity, and from the madness of the world. Because the majority of the world is unvirtuous. They're not manlike. They're limp. They're walking around or crawling around on all fours. Although they may be walking on twos, you can see the virtue in the individual. And you know whether they are walking erect or whether they are spiritually crawling in the dirt. Now, So that's the first V. So you must have virtue and be virtuous in order to move through success, especially during warrior training. Because now, I want to be very clear about this. In our secret societies, one of the things that I read years ago, let's not even go to secret society, let's go to the mystery systems, which was only a mystery to those that was on the outside of them. The mystery systems of ancient Kemet. When you entered those doors, there was one way to come out. That was as a master. If you did not come out a master, you were either confined in there as a slave or dead. No way around it. You come out a master, an ascended master, or you died or was in servitude to all those that came after you. So being virtuous was one of the first things that they instilled in the individuals, because all the tests that you received required you to be a virtuous individual, because you was learning to be a priest. You was learning to be a representation of the divine for your people. See, when we are talking about warriorship, we're not just talking about somebody to go out and is able to fight. We're talking about somebody that's an example to the world. So now this is Brother Hatim saying thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in to Giami Journey Radio in the heart of Assemble Production. And I'm out. I hope that your day will be as beautiful as you are. And give yourself permission to identify your virtues. The virtues that you follow. What are the principles that you live your life by? We've been talking about this over and over again. I got to bring it to you over and over again because I need to stress the importance of that. If you want to move towards success, if you want to change your life, what are the principles that you are living by? Because if you are living by the principles, you are following a process. If you are following a process, the process is going to lead you somewhere. So if you keep ending up in a dead end, you got to look at your process. And in order to look at the process, you got to break down the principles that lie at the basis of the process. So some of us need to go back and look at the virtues that we live in our life by so that we can understand where we are in life. This is Brother Hatim. I'm out.